this is my speed bleed build, and I'm using the cosmetic package of the Blood Gladiator from a few leagues back, I think, which fits the actual character build rather nicely. So let me go to my hideout, and then, of course, as always, I start my my PoE streams with explaining my build. So this is my character, duelist base. Obviously, otherwise you can't be a gladiator. Gladiator Ascendancy. Now, why did I pick Gladiator Ascendancy? As usual with the builds, I kind of look what skills look cool. Like, what is the skill I want to try next? The main attack skill. I saw Lacerate. I thought, yeah, Lacerate is cool. I looked at Lacerate. It has a innate bleed effect. You can... Oh, that's not correct. Here you go. Lacerate. It's got slashes twice, does base damage, and has 25% bleeding while in blood stance. So I was like, alright, let's do blood stance. Let's do bleed damage. What fits bleed damage best? Duelist Gladiator, of course. Because the Gladiator has some bleed in its tree. The Gladiator Ascendancy, that is. So, yeah. I looked at the passive skill tree. This is it. Of course, we've got the full bleed tree right here. Like, have more chance to cause bleeding. Enemies that bleed also maim, which is 30% reduced movement speed. Not that that's very helpful, but oh well. And enemies maimed by you take 10% increased physical damage. That's, of course, the main reason why we want to maim in this instance. And then gratuitous violence, which have even 25% chance even more to bleed. I think I have well over 100% chance to cause bleeding at this point. 30 increased damage with hits and ailments against bleeding enemies. And do remember that bleed is a ailment. So, you know, when they're bleeding, even more damage. And the piece de la resistance there. Bleeding enemies you kill explode, dealing 10% of their maximum life as physical damage. So that's really cool, because usually you go through packs and you're whacking away at them, and then you see the packs like die, die, die. But now it's like you're whacking away at them, and then one of them goes explode, and then the entire pack goes explode. So that's really cool. And then we have Outmatch and Outlast for some defense, because we get a Frenzy Charge on kill, which is attack speed, and a Endurance Charge on kill, which is less damage received. So it's both offense and defense in a single node. I like that. I like nodes that do that. Then also more physical damage while at maximum Frenzy Charges, and more damage resistance when at maximum Endurance Charges. So, you know, making use of all the Endurance and Frenzy Charges that we generate. So, originally I wanted to make this a build based and focused on Endurance and Frenzy Charges, because we're getting so much from these Endurance and Frenzy Charges. But then I realized it is a 25% chance to gain a charge on a kill. And when you're fighting bosses, now some bosses do have adds, they spawn adds, so you can have charges on some parts of the fight, but most bosses just stand there and take the hits. Now, if it was Frenzy and Endurance Charge on hit, I would continue on with my plan and actually go for a Frenzy Endurance Charge build. However, when I got this node in the game, I felt like, oh crap, it's on kill, which makes it less reliable. I prefer to have stuff that is generally less good but applicable in all situations, versus stuff that is really good but only in very specific situations. Like, getting those frenzies up, or those charges up, a Frenzy and Endurance, would be really good if you're fighting bosses. That's a very, very specific situation. And I'm more of a player that goes like, alright, let's not go to the very specific part. Let's take something that might be less good, I don't know. But it might be less good. But at least it's applicable in every situation. As far as I'm aware, bosses bleed, monsters bleed. Bleed is good, bleed is just applicable everywhere. Unless there's a boss mob or a specific type of mob that doesn't bleed, then I might have missed that. Alright, so Gladiator was set. The skill was set. Now what do we take with this tree? So at first I was like, alright, we have attack speed and we have damage. So I went, you know, ooh, this is damage, this is accuracy ratings damage, this is damage, this is damage. Obviously I'm dual wielding because, you know, 2 weapons, and I'm getting the endurance charge with offhand kill and frenzy charge with main hand kill, so I need to have 2 weapons, so dual wielding is the thing. So this is dual wielding. Then I saw a lot of evasion rating and armor, so I was like, alright, I'm a dex strength character, I'm probably gonna have armor evasion equipment, I know how this game works. Well, sort of, kind of, I'm a noob, but you know, I sort of know how this game works, so like, alright, I'm gonna have armor, evasion, and life. Those are my defenses. So buy-in, getting evasion rating and armor, getting life. Then I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, right, leech is also a thing. And we're attacking really fast, so we'll probably have a lot of leech going really, really fast, applying those hits. So I'll probably want some leech with both mana and life, because my mana is quite low, as you can see right here. I'm sustaining 3 auras, so, you know, quite low. So I was like, alright, and here's a dual wield node, very nice. And I also wanted to go for this node because it's like pure attack speed. I think this is the most attack speed you can get in a node on the tree, as far as I'm aware. Obviously also grants us easy access to the Scion life node. Get some more one-handed damage. There's a bleed node to increase the bleed, some more life, blah 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 blah. Oh, someone wants to buy something. Let me quickly... the Wanderlust shoes, alright. So I was like, alright. Ooh, I'm asking a Chaos Orb. Interesting. Nice. I like my Chaos Orbs. Slight distraction there, guys, but I do have a shop to run as well in this game. Alright, so I was like, alright, you know, cool. We've got our base build done. And then as I was playing, I was sort of fiddling with it. You know, I saw some defenses that were lacking on some parts, so I upped some life. I saw some offense that was lacking, like the damage wasn't quite feeling right, so I got, for example, this node. That's like more physical melee damage, more damage with ailments, which, again, bleeding is, more physical damage, leech less life, which is basically everything that we want in a single node. So I was like, alright, that's cool. We're going to apply this and that, and I was fiddling around with it, and it still doesn't feel... It feels good to build, but it feels like it just isn't there just yet. Like, it needs a few more levels. It needs a few more levels. I'm quite aware that as I'm playing this build, it's like, yeah, it's a good build, it's a great concept. I'm liking what I'm playing, but it needs a few more levels to really oomph out of there. Like, it needs just a bit more life. Maybe 3,500 life would be a good thing to aim for. We have 3,000 currently. A bit more damage and all that. So that's kind of the aim of the build, is to like swipe really, really fast. I can show you here. This is our swiping right now. That's our swiping without frenzy charges and everything going up. So yeah, I have, you know, the essence of this build, to swipe and to dodge. Like dodge, see, like I got this dashing thing to sort of yeah, dodge out of the way of good attacks or you know, rough attacks. So I was like, all right, I'm well on the way of making this build work, and I'm well on the way of building what I want. Then, oh, I still have that one. Oh, sorry, sold. I sold those Honda's clasp. As I said, I have a shop to run. You do have a shop in this game? Ah, or refusing. Thank you, good luck. Alright, so then, now here comes the big kicker. As I was playing the game and I was playing the build, after I have sort of established the build and sort of established the skill that I want to use, I've established the talents that I want to take, the ascendancy that I want to take, stuff like that. I start looking at items as the icing on the cake. I'm like, alright, now we need the good items. Because you can wear uniques only in the late game, so I start to look at them as I'm starting the build and feeling out how it works. Then I stumbled upon this one. I mean, I bought it in the game with the in-game training system, but with stumbled, I mean, I was looking at swords. I stumbled on the side on this one. Now, this looks like a really great sword, and it is. It is a really great sword. It's got accuracy rating, it's got extra physical damage, attack speed, evasion rating, movement speed, like everything that this build needs. But there's one particular thing about this sword that makes it extra special. It's the bottom, the final, the last modifier that says 1% increased attack damage per 450 evasion rating. I was like, oh my god. I need to improve my evasion rating. Like, holy crap. This is cool. So per 450 evasion rating, we're getting a percentage of increased attack damage. This is what I need. So, I went ahead and got myself stuff like this node. More increased evasion and armor. More attack damage, evasion and armor. More attack damage, evasion and armor. Attack damage, evasion, oh, this is what I'm gonna get. And I went to like, oh my god, I need like evasion everywhere. That's where I'm currently at. I'm like, oh my god, where can I get evasion? Because that's so cool. Because evasion is a defensive mechanic, but this sword basically says, invest in this defensive mechanic and you get both defense and offense with it. And I'm like, oh my god. I need evasion shit. That's currently where I'm at with this build. I'm like, oh man. I need evasion items. And also I'm thinking about getting a second Dream Feather. I know that sounds crazy, but... sounds good too. Now, before we start, the one thing... Start with actually playing, I mean... The one thing that I still haven't got in order with this build is the defenses, because I don't have all my resistances on 76%, which is the maximum. Well, the maximum in the game is 75, but I have a note in the tree that says increase all your maximum resistances by 1%. So the maximum for this character is 76 on all resistances, which I don't have yet. So I'm definitely going to need a look at some items that increase resistances. I'm looking to replace this ring. It does give me a lot of physical damage and attributes and fire damage and a lot of life, but I'm looking at this ring to really complement my resistances. So getting a ring that does lightning resistance, that does fire resistance, and then gives me life would be excellent. In terms of progress, I just recently started the Atlas and I noticed something because I did not play previous League. And in 3.9 they apparently changed the Atlas, going from outside to in, to inside to out. So I have no idea what this means yet for the progress, but we'll have to see. Let us go and play some maps. I'm still on tier 1. Oh, this is a blue one. Splitting pier. Let's go into that one. I'm still on tier 1, still early days in the mapping process. But yeah, I need some tier 2 maps to drop for me to advance well through the mapping system. Because basically you usually play to get some tier 1s first established. And then move on to the tier 2s once you have that established.
I suppose I should turn my full attention to you. We shall see how far you can be pushed.
Holy crap, these do a lot of damage. Whoo, that's a lot of damage. Alright. That is a lot of damage. I guess I can't be pushed far yet. Oh crap. And they're all here. Oh god. These lightningy dudes do a lot of damage. Maybe because my lightning resistance isn't in order yet. That could be the thing. A hypnotic eye jewel. I've also been thinking about maybe getting a jewel for my passive tree, because I do have a jewel slot to get a jewel that gives me resistances. The resistances that I'm missing. Whatever the case, you really need to fix them. That's pretty paramount. Oh, there's Alva too. I usually don't want to do Alva on maps because that's pretty rippy in that sense. Because just being dumped into like a whole bunch of monsters in that on the temple map is yeah. With a character that's not fully developed yet, it's not advisable. Don't want to waste portals on it. Not just yet. Maybe there's somewhere in the passive tree where we could get some resistances, but I don't know. I mean, I could potentially look to where the if there's a ring. That sort of gives me what I want, but I imagine resistances and life is gonna be very, very expensive. In terms of currency. A ring with resistance and life. But yeah, this is basically how my character works. Just get in, and then bam! Let them explode. So they're not bleeding to death, they're exploding to death. Well, they're bleeding to death to a certain point, and then they explode. That's the idea. The cool part is I got this character to play exactly as I intended it to. Just not entirely as powerful as I imagined it yet. And I guess that's all based on items too. Alright. Let us go kill the boss. Oh crap. It's that boss. These spikes are always a gamble where they end up. I don't really use the timer, to be honest. I just hope I time it well enough. Alright, that wasn't too bad.